impact of casino gambling on a community. 69 News and WFMZ-TV do not endorse gambling and do not favor any one-slot parlor proposal for the Lehigh Valley.
The First Southern Baptist Church in Evansville, Indiana, is saying a prayer for Pennsylvania.
Allentown is considering having a casino, and honestly we need to pray for them that God's will be done.
Pastor Don Moore says since Casino Aztar opened, requests for benevolence have skyrocketed.
People begging for their house rent to be paid. Going to lose my car, my utilities going to be shut off.
Moore says gambling not only separates some people from their money, but also from their integrity.
The manager of the motel called me and said, I understand that your church paid for a room here. I said, yes. And she said to me, don't do that. Said, this fella is getting churches to pay for his room every night. He goes down to the boat and comes in drunk, bragging about churches renting his rooms, and he's gambling his money.
Moore says gambling is a problem that plagues men's souls, and he says Casino Aztar is only adding to it. But some of Evansville's evangelicals say the positives of Casino Aztar have by far outweighed the negatives.
Aztar's come and has blessed our community of workers.
Pastor Walter Brown Sr., formerly of New Hope Baptist Church in Evansville, says when Aztar came in, it set up job centers in the poorest sections of town, and in the process changed hundreds of lives.
The job enabled to buy homes, able to send their children to college, and able to do a lot of things that they were not able to do.
Brown and his son, former co-pastor Walter Brown Jr., say Jesus would approve. What do you think Jesus would think about Aztar and what it's done here?
Jesus would do what he could and be for those who are trying to help society at large. And that would be the stance I really think Jesus would have.
One statistic that goes widely unreported is the number of gambling-related deaths.
I know there's been more than one suicide, but what's one worth?
Vanderburgh County coroner says despite a spike in 1997, it averages about 25 suicides a year. There's no information linking suicides to gambling in Evansville. But Knopfsinger claims there's evidence to show Evansville does have problems with gambling addiction. Knopfsinger sued Casino Aztar when one addict claimed the casino targeted him and led him to gamble himself into bankruptcy and suicidal despair. The lawsuit was dismissed.
You can play, and you can play dumb, and you can play smart.
Ed Whitty's game of choice is video poker. He's been coming to Aztar for 10 years. He says he knows he's going to lose money, but the perks he gets in exchange are worth it.
I came down here and stayed in the hotel free for 3 nights while my air conditioner was fixed.
There are players that get particular levels of gifts.
Diane Dixon provides Aztar with specialized gifts for the casino's best customers. She says in addition to hotel stays, some gamblers are also given expensive clocks, clothing, and mementos to make them feel good about coming back to Casino Aztar. While Ed Whitty says he doesn't have a problem, a Harvard Medical School study says about 1.3% of Americans are vulnerable to becoming pathological gamblers.
As in any place where you have gambling, there are going to be times when people put way more money in than what they should.
Evansville Rescue Mission chaplain Steve Hale says he's seen the ugly side of gambling addiction.
Homemade chicken noodle soup.
Hale says the mission has provided food and shelter to many men who have lost everything to gambling, including their families.
One of the things we try to do is to get them settled in so that they so that they can begin to look at that debt and figure out how in the world they can eventually handle it. That's a real difficulty for them.
The mission does it all on donations, but refuses to take money from Aztar, calling it unclean.
We trained our staff in advance of the boat opening.
John Browning, president of Southwestern Indiana Mental Health Centers, says it treats up to 70 people a year for gambling addiction. And despite having 2 Gamblers Anonymous chapters, Browning says Evansville's rate of gambling addiction is far below the national average. Browning says Aztar has worked diligently to identify gamblers with addiction.
If we see overt signs, like, for instance, someone on the casino floor offering to sell their watch to somebody, that's an immediate red flag that is detectable, that's visible, and we take action.
President James Brown says Aztar was the first casino in Indiana to establish a self-exclusion policy where problem gamblers can ban themselves from the boat. Brown says the casino provides gambling addiction information to visitors. He says the industry spends millions on detection, education, and treatment in their respective community.
This goes back to personal responsibility. You've got to take responsibility for your actions.
Brown says while Aztar cares about the community, it's in the entertainment business to make money. Brown says of every 10 gamblers, 2 win, 5 break even,
I like the 20.
and 3 lose. Aztar says it pays out 92 cents for every dollar spent. Some of that money comes from down the street.
A lot of people would tell us about how their bad luck just happened or their unfortunate tales. But yes, we do get a bit of business from that.
Brent Carroll says a lot of his casino clients are repeat customers, often hawking the same item over and over again. Does that kind of break your heart when you know that?
Yeah, but then again, I mean, it's their choice. They always bounce back where they ride it out.
Looking around the shop, you can see the usual pawn items, but Carroll says he also deals in the unusual.
Some people have tried to pawn gold teeth.
Like, take them out of their
Yes.
mouth and...
Yes.
You didn't go for that, huh?
Sometimes if they didn't come straight out of the mouth and they were in a package, we didn't have to handle them with our hands. Yeah, we'll take them. Buy them for gold scrap weight.
That's not something Ed Whitty says will ever happen to him because he's playing his losses smart.
What's the difference between people that go to the casino on Sunday and people that go to church on Sunday? People in the casino, when they pray, they mean it.